All right, a quick note about what you can do to preserve your health when doing prepared piano stuff on a regular basis. So from a personal note here, I've been doing way more prepared piano work in the past month now, and I've noticed certain things that are sore in my body, like my hip and my butt, like butt and hip muscles, and in particular my left side, my calf, and the butt and hip muscles on both sides, but particularly on the left side. And I realized a big issue is, when you have to put your foot out to hold down the sustain pedal, because you want to lift all the dampers up here like that whenever you're preparing something, so that it doesn't mess up the dampers by digging in at different places than it's used to be, than it's lined up for. So anyway, you lift it every time, and that's a really repetitive gesture, but you do that over and over and over again, what's going to happen is your right foot is just going to always be there. And then I realized, for me, I'm putting all my weight on my left foot, and I'm doing a lot of bending and a lot of balancing of pretty much all my weight, except for a tiny little bit of my weight on the heel of my right foot. So anyway, the distribution of weight is all out of whack when you're standing and holding down the pedal. One solution is to get some kind of sandbag or some kind of heavy, a weight of some sort, like a dumbbell or something. It sucks to carry that around with you, though. So that's the part of the issue, is if you're a traveling thing, if you're a traveling entity, you don't want to have to carry around something that's intentionally just super heavy. But that's one way. Something that I've been discovering, because I want to have this project be something that's versatile and kind of like able to set up on different pianos too. I found that, for me, for my health, I'm switching feet a lot more now. So I'm doing something that you would never, ever do as a pianist, which is play with your left foot on the sustain pedal. But especially, so the rightmost pedal is the one I'm talking about. But especially when you're, doing something from about C5 and above, you should definitely use your left foot. And the reason is because it's lined up with my torso. My foot is lined up in a nice straight angle forward, so that if I'm using my right or left hand, I feel quite stabilized. See, my foot is like, right behind it, and not feeling like, for example, if I had to do something lower than this, my back foot will have to go something like that, and then I'm on this really weird T shape, rather than balancing my weight more correctly. So it's actually a technique that's somewhat related to playing the piano. It's ideas about distributing your weight equally when you're sitting and playing the instrument, but it's just now applying those same principles to a standing position, and also going against some of the pianistic instincts to always use your right foot on the rightmost pedal. Of course, when you're walking around, standing up and moving like this, it really doesn't matter what foot you're using. You just got to make sure you got the right one down and do it. And then same thing for the low end. Your right foot would do that, so for sure. And there's, way more notes down here that you really wouldn't want your left foot to do. So when you're from C5 and above, definitely use your left foot on the sustain pedal. Another, similar principle to apply here that I've noticed I've gotten a lot better about doing is staying aligned with my torso. So for example, if I'm taking out a string, well, this is like, let me see if I can do this better here. Let's say this was here, this was there on an angle. I'm not going to take my right hand and do that and then use my left hand over here to do this, because it puts everything out of whack. Instead, I'm going to still do that, but move to the side on an angle like this and approach it so that both are equidistant from my body. So both hands are both hands are in a symmetrical position, going against the lines of the instrument. But it's better for your health that way. Again, this is a piano playing technique. When you're on the instrument, I think people think, oh, we have to stay lined up with our fingers with the keys all the time, and that's absolutely wrong. You want to let your hand relax and be on an angle at times. So a scale might look like, whatever, like this, versus like this. And then it puts on weird tension in your wrist. So it's all a lot of straight lines that you're looking at, but it doesn't mean your body needs to contort to stay in a straight line this way, even though you're on a very clear diagonal angle for the lengths of the strings. So that's a clear sort of just cognitive dissonance you have to get over, because the strings get very, very small up here and get bigger and bigger and bigger down here. So you're naturally going to reach further as you get lower and stay higher up as you get higher. So everything kind of on an angle like this. Like this is sort of the plane for working, I found to be so much better for my body, because if not, then you're doing a lot of reaching further than you have to and throwing your body out of alignment by reaching over the top of your, across your torso, essentially reaching your hands across your torso and rotating your hips a lot when you really don't have to. So these are all little things, and that's also the rotating of the hips, maybe a lot of the tension in my lower back and butt and hips. So all these muscles that are sore in different ways for the first time have really, kind of helped me understand what I need to do in order to do this in the long term and be healthy and comfortable doing it. So I hope these tips resonate with you and help you as well. I'm just talking from personal experience, from the soreness and difficulties and pain even of discovering some of these things along the way from this past month.